Today, the art of big numbers. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics, what notice post covering finance and problem news with a distinctively Australian flavour. The Prime Minister and Treasurer released their second stimulus package today, which is designed to shield the country from the current emergency and to keep businesses from collapsing for at least the next 6 months. But a warning: watch how the RBA measures how things have been rolled into the total value of support they quoted at $189 billion. Actually, this is deceptive. They want to make it look like a big number. It is not yet. In summary, small businesses can receive cash payments up to $100,000, and some welfare recipients will receive another $750 in payments as New Start is repurposed temporarily. It builds on the measures included in the first $17.6 billion stimulus economic package that was announced more than a week ago. And ScoMo said we cannot prevent all the many hardships, many sacrifices that we will face in the months ahead. And he made the point that the health-related issues are leading to a range of broader economic issues as never before seen. The total packages are now worth around 9.7% of GDP, or $189 billion, if you include the RBA activity of $90 billion and the AOFM activity of $15 billion. Of course, it's a lot lower if you exclude those. And the Treasury modelling indicates that benefits to the national accounts in the June and September quarters will be visible, but of course they'll be offset by unknown big falls elsewhere. No one knows where the results will land. And again, within that $90 billion, the RBA's liquidity injections are included. So the true government direct support is much lower than advertised. In fact, direct support to households are closer to 13% of the total package. The UK initiatives, which we discussed recently, were 15% of UK GDP, so we're still doing things on the cheap in my view. But there is some direct support for households and more needs to come, I think. The new measures include temporarily doubling the job seeker payment, previously called New Start, allowing people to access $10,000 from their superannuation in 1920 and 2021, guaranteeing unsecured small business loans up to $250,000, and reducing deeming rates by a further 0.25%. A second $750 payment will be automatically paid to an estimated 5 million people on July the 13th on welfare. The first $750 payment, announced in the first stimulus package, will be paid on March the 31st. The government will temporarily double the job seeker payment, previously called New Start, providing people with an additional $750 a fortnight. The payment will be available to sole traders and casual workers provided they meet income tests. The government will waive asset tests and waiting periods to access the job seeker payment. The Prime Minister said that the nature of these payments and the purpose of these payments are changing to provide additional income support for vulnerable groups. And the government will allow people to access up to $10,000 from the superannuation this financial year and in 2021. People will not pay tax on their money that they access, and withdrawals will not affect Centrelink or veteran payments. There will also be a temporary 50% reduction in superannuation minimum drawdown requirements for account-based pensions in 2019-20 and 2020-21. On top of the deeming rate changes made at the time of the first package, the government is reducing the deeming rates by a further 0.25 percentage points to reflect the latest RBA reductions. As at the 1st of May 2020, the lower deeming rate will be 0.25% and the upper deeming rate will be 2.25%, although good luck finding any type of term deposit with a 2.25% return at them. The change will benefit, they say, around 900,000 income support recipients, including age pensioners. And this measure is estimated to cost around $876 million over the forward estimates. For smaller businesses and not-for-profits with a turnover under $50 million, they can receive a tax-free cash payment of up to $100,000, with a minimum payment of $20,000 for eligible companies. The government says 690,000 businesses employing 7.8 million people and 30,000 not-for-profit businesses will be eligible for measures in the stimulus package. The payments will be delivered by the tax office as a credit on activity statements from late April. In an agreement with the banks, the Commonwealth is also offering to guarantee unsecured loans of up to $250,000 for up to 3 years to businesses, interest-free for 6 months. In response, the CBA said the Commonwealth Bank will support as many of the government-supported loans as possible, and in doing so is making available up to $10 billion of additional unsecured credit to support small and medium businesses. And the ABA welcomed the move, saying banks stand ready to help their business customers get through this, whether it's deferring their loan payments or providing more working capital. Today's announcement of a second stimulus package, which includes an SME guarantee scheme, will mean access to funds to see small businesses through this downturn. The government is moving quickly to implement this package, and to that end, a package of bills is being introduced into Parliament on the 23rd of March 2020 for urgent consideration. Subject to passage of the bills through the Parliament, the government will then move to immediately make and register supporting instruments. And the National Cabinet will meet tonight to find a way to force Australians to adhere to social distancing following the temporary closure of Bondi Beach after people failed to adhere to government spacing requirements. There were clear signals of more draconian measures potentially coming should people not keep their distance, and the government also said not to travel unless it was essential. Reality is slowly catching up with the community, but many, I'm afraid, are still looking the other way. Now, if you look at the way that the total package was constructed, you can see that 13% is actually supporting households. That's around $25 billion. Support for businesses is around 20%, or $38.7 billion, plus an additional 11%, which is $20 billion for SME cash flow support. So more than 31% of the package is directly going into the business sector. And then 8%, or $15 billion, is for the AFOM smaller lending support, and 48% relates to the RBA liquidity support and other measures worth $90 billion. But of course, if you take out the 90 and the 15, which are essentially financial system support elements, then the amount that's going to the real community is considerably lower than the $189 billion that was quoted by the Prime Minister and Treasurer today. And I'm afraid that I think that is a bit misleading. Now, I don't know whether that was deceitful or whether that was just trying to make the number look like a really big number, but it is way lower compared with the GDP support that, for example, the UK has provided. I think we're trying to do this on the cheap. And my problem is that by doing less now, what we're going to do is to make the crash deeper, and we're going to have less potential to bounce back because there will be more damaged balance sheets among households and among businesses. I think we should be going in harder and deeper and providing more direct cash to households and businesses. I think the UK package was spot on. We should be doing the same. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.